What we're going to look at today is using mesh operations to extract a fluid volume and run a case and then use the replace part to do a new design change. So first thing we want to do is bring in our pipe here, and I'm going to go ahead and deselect create part contacts from coincident faces. Alright, so we've got a part here. Now this is a relatively old part and it's got some extra pieces of geometry in it, so I'm going to go ahead and start off by just dumping some of the stuff I don't necessarily need. I've got a hole fill on each end, and then I've got a sensor in there, and I don't really need them for this particular demonstration. So what we have to do is, first of all, imprint all of our bodies on each other so that we have a topological connection between all of them, that we have a closed volume inside. Then we'll fill the ends, and we'll use an extract volume in order to extract the fluid volume internally. Now, traditionally, we just use a surface wrapper. Now we can use mesh operations to get to the same goal. All right, so step number one is always going to be to imprint your components. So go ahead and select them all and go into the repair tool. And once you're here, you can jump over to merge imprint. But in case you're curious, one thing you can always do is turn on the diagnostics, and what you'll be looking at is these pierced faces here. Because they're not necessarily connected to each other, they'll show up as pierced in the surface repair tool. So if I go over to merge imprint, multi-part imprint, then let's do something about 1 millimeter and find pairs. Let's go ahead and imprint them all. You can certainly go one by one if you're not sure. If you see any striations or jagged lines, you definitely want to go one by one. But if I come back to my imprint, my repair surface, you can see all those pierced faces are gone, because now these surfaces are topologically connected. Yes, we have poor quality, but this is the import tessellation, so it's fine. All right. So now I've got my surfaces topologically connected. I need to fill holes. In order to fill holes with mesh operations, you have to have some sort of delineation, whether it be an edge or a surface. And the quickest way is to do it with a surface. So we're going to split this off. The end. We'll call this the end. And we'll do the same thing over on the other side. We'll spin around here, put my patch, and we'll grab this end face. Call this one end as well. Alright, so now that I have these two faces, what I can do is just select the part which I want to hole fill on, and do a mesh operation, fill holes, select an end surface here, and OK. And so what you'll see is now I have a new part called fill holes. And you can see this is one of the operations down below. So this is the end. Great. So let's do that again on this side. So mesh operation, fill holes. And instead of having to expand everything, I'm just going to type end. And what you'll see is that it filters out just the piece that I want. Oh, okay. So now we've got all of our parts. We've got two hole fills, one for each end. Then we've got all of our components. So what I want to do is extract the fluid volume that's defined by all of these parts. And notice I can select the assembly, and that selects all the parts within it. So right click, and we'll do another mesh operation, and this one will be extract volume. Great. And sometimes you'll want to merge surfaces, but in my case, I don't want to merge surfaces, so I keep all the different boundaries of all the different parts. So hit OK. And now I have an extracted volume part. You'll see that's the interior fluid surface. So if I want to move on, I can go through and do a, let's say for instance, just a flow only simulation. And that's pretty easy, but I want to do a CHT. So let's go ahead and do all of these. So I want all the parts. I want to assign parts to regions. But with 604, we can do things a little bit more fancy. So in my particular case, I want the pipes to be one region, the couplings to be another region, and my air to be a third region. So I want to just one region per part. So one region per all parts, one boundary per part surface. I'll create regions. So now I have an air region. You'll see here this is region 1. So if I clear this selection, and I go and I select my two coupling regions, one region for all parts per part surface, create. So those are both part of region 2. And finally, let's do our 3 pipes. Same way, create and close. So now you'll see I have 3 regions, one being the fluid, because one air. Then I've got my couplings. And finally, we've got our pipes. Oh. Great. So what we can do now is go through the whole meshing process and set everything up, inlets, outlets, and all that. But for this particular exercise, what I want to do is look at now how to replace an individual component. So STAR-CCM Plus is built in such a way that we want to be able to replace a part and still have everything go down through the tree. So all your mesh conditions, all your physics settings, everything will run very, very quickly. So I need to replace this particular component, which is body 8, with another component. So I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to replace part. So go all the way down to the bottom here and let's grab another transition piece. So see, this is a different shape. Now, the side note, when you replace a part, you need to reestablish the connectivity between all the different components. So right click on your assembly, repair surface, and go back to your merge imprint, multi-part imprint, and we're going to find pairs again. And you'll find that some of them have already been associated, but the new part is not associated. So let's go ahead and imprint them all. And you should see a line here and a line here. Yep, there we go. So we have our new imprint. So now when we rerun all of our operations, it should reestablish everything. So just go ahead and right click on operations and rerun. So now you'll see we get the air volume again with a new geometry. And all of this goes right down to the regions. So it goes into your mesh and your physics and your setup. So that's the quick way to go through and replace parts within STAR-CCM Plus using mesh operations. Thanks.